Alright, if everyone could just get seated for me. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to mourn the loss and tragic death of the Google Stadia.
Yes, we are. And that's exactly what we're going to do. How? By making sure the Act-Man is right on the money when it comes to this. Does he know what he's talking about, or did he fall flat? Let's find out.
Some of you may not mourn this death, and now that I think about it, neither do I.
Jokes! He's got jokes. Nothing we haven't heard before, guys.
After just 3 short years, Google has announced that they are pulling the plug on Stadia, canceling all future support for it come January 18th. Like watching a kid stick a fork in the electrical outlet, we all saw this coming.
First of all, love the soundtrack. ODST, Donkey Kong 64, love it.
This is not a trivial project by any means. This is a very, very significant cross-company effort that isn't just my team, but it's also across YouTube, it's across our technical infrastructure and networking team. It represents thousands of people who are working on this business. Thousands of people no longer working on this business. And that's just, I mean, if we're to take him at his word, that's a huge level of investment. It's almost maybe too much. Too many hands in the cookie jar, if you will.
This is exactly what I said in my video, when I said that there are too many cooks in the kitchen. Right on the money, Act-Man.
Now, several questions are worth asking and answering. Does anyone care?
Well, I'm here and you're here, so, damn. Continue.
If Google can't break into this market, then who can?
Oh, no one, apparently. No one's ever heard of GeForce Now, or Boosteroid, or Amazon Luna. No one. Apparently there's no one else in the cloud gaming industry.
Now, my first experience with Stadia came back at PAX 2019, and they had a huge booth set up, and you could play Doom Eternal like 6 months before it dropped. Why is the game so laggy? That was my first and only time ever using a Stadia. I have no regrets. The first impression didn't stick the landing, and I was never given a reason after this to ever pick up a Stadia or try it. No thanks.
Honestly, I don't blame him. Stadia out the gate was pretty bad. And it's a shame right now because Stadia runs really well. You should go back and try Destiny 2 right now. It runs like a dream.
Google Stadia is not a video game console. It was software, not hardware. And I only just realized that after it was canceled. That's how poorly the marketing got the message across. That's how little Google really invested in showing this thing off after it came out.
And I'm glad I'm not the only one. The marketing, or I should say the lack thereof, sucks donkey balls. Yeah, I said it. Year after year. No one knows what Stadia is. Go figure.
I mean, this was supposed to be a massive new competitor to Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Steam, Epic Games, Battle.net, and I don't even know what was special or unique about it.
And Act-Man is right on the money. For all those die-hard Stadia fans stating that Stadia wasn't in competition with all the other gaming platforms, what planet are you living on? What makes you think that they weren't in competition with every other video game platform on the planet? If you make a video game platform, I don't care what's powering it, cloud gaming or not, you're gonna be in competition with others in the industry, whether you like it or not.
Unlike consoles, Stadia doesn't take up any space.
Oh my gosh, this online service doesn't take up any space in my living room? Finally, I've been waiting for one of those. Space? Really?
Yes, Act-Man. Space. You're showing your entitlement here, dude. Not everyone can afford to live as well as you. Get off your high horse and realize that not everyone lives in spacious houses with lavish living rooms to play their games, let alone afford the console price. And if you haven't noticed, mobile gaming is on the rise. Many new gamers don't want consoles to play their games when they can play them on their phones they already have. Stadia filled both those needs. Most cloud gaming does. Jesus.
Bro, if people want to play PS5, they're gonna make room for it in their living room.
Okay, I'm moving on.
Google's advertising was a reflection of just how clueless they were about the product. They didn't know what they were selling. How is this different from Steam?
Stadia's streaming pipeline leverages decades of Google research. Is that a dog?
What the dog doing?
And then right as the lady's about to explain what Stadia is, she gets interrupted.
It's clear that this commercial was designed for non-technical people. How are you supposed to explain what cloud gaming is to people who don't give a crap about cloud gaming to begin with? They could have mentioned the term cloud gaming, but I have a feeling they want to avoid this term to make it seem like direct competition with other consoles. But to be fair, they didn't do much marketing after this. Well, there was the Stadia stores, but it helps to have games!
So the idea is that I get to stream games without downloading them, and I don't have to wait for games to update. You want me to pay for a service that lets me play games on my computer slightly more conveniently. I mean, for people with terrible internet, yeah, maybe. But if I want to update a game, you know what I do? I go take a piss.
What kind of pisses are you taking? Once again, Actman, you're showing your entitlement. What do you want? Fiber? We're not talking about your simple update patch here, buddy. Not everyone can afford the best internet. The average internet speed in America is around 120 megabits per second, and most households are sharing that speed. The download size for Destiny 2 is over 90 gigabytes. Not only will this take longer than a piss for most people, but it's going to take a good chunk out of that hard drive, which is a problem Stadia also solves, along with every other cloud gaming platform.
Now, to be fair, there were some benefits to the Stadia. I mean, it supported 4K resolution and 60 FPS with HDR.
Well, this kind of showed how much research he put into this. Yeah, Stadia 4K was upscaled and not native. It happens.
Being pro-consumer is a good selling point, and these were good selling points. They just should have been at the forefront of the advertising. Stop trying to be cool and tell me what it is you're selling. And the idea of Google using their own bandwidth to stream the games to your computer, it's a neat idea, if a bit niche.
It's called cloud gaming. Cloud gaming. Say it with your chest.
There was even going to be exclusive titles produced in-house by Stadia. They were contracting other studios to make exclusives and partnering with third parties to port games like Destiny across.
Play it, fool! God, how many times do I tell you?
A lot of people saw the potential with Stadia, and there was potential. If Stadia had worked, had a nice user interface, was very pro-consumer, got some exclusive games, and it all worked relatively flawlessly, I could see this carving out modest success, at the very least.
Which is exactly where I thought they were going until they announced the shutdown.
Regrettably, what held Stadia back was Google itself, as they doubled back on many of the promises they made to produce exclusive games.
Amen.
Why should I leave Steam or Battle.net or Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo's eShop? Why should I leave any of those to go to Stadia?
Bingo! I've said it before, and I'll say it again, Google. No one is going to drop their current platform, full of games they play, to come to a brand new platform with much less users to buy your games again and not be able to play with players outside of the platform ecosystem. Doesn't make any sense.
The reality is, if you don't have exclusive games or a killer product or killer customer service or some killer app, there's no reason for me to leave any of the places I'm already playing games to go to your place.
Preach, Actman! Preach!
Especially if it doesn't offer any obvious benefits. Like, bro, apparently Hideo Kojima was working on a new Death Stranding exclusively for Stadia and Google canceled that?
I'm still just finding out about that. Massive L, Google. Massive. Good job, Phil.
Like, how? How do you do that?
Such a pleasure to be here today.
At least Stadia is trying to exit the scene with some dignity and grace, but that's not the case for some developers and employees of Google, some of whom were surprised at best and taking a massive financial loss at worst. That's incredibly frustrating.
And I said it before, as a developer myself, I feel for them.
I think the Stadia will serve as an important reminder to tech companies that just because you make billions and billions of dollars doesn't mean you can suddenly fill your head with hot air and think you can do everything.
It's definitely not Google's first, and it won't be the last. The Stadia graveyard exists for a reason.
So yeah, rest in peace, Google Stadia. You will be missed, not by many, but by some. But what do you think?
Well, yeah, what do you think? These were most of the points I wanted to cover. He had his good points and his bad points. Feel free to check out his full video in the description below. Also, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to get the latest news on everything cloud gaming at the only place where you can do battle in gaming heaven, Cloud Gaming Battle.
Peace!